All right, I decided that I was going to explore some of the great names, philosophers, scientists of the past, and start to share some of the actual information that they gave that is so interesting, starting with predictions. Now, you know how I feel about predictions. I'm going to discuss that in a moment. And it's actually backed up. My idea about predictions is backed up by everybody I'm going to talk to you about that gave predictions. Today we're going to talk about the predictions of Tesla. I've never heard these before, and I think you're going to enjoy this. One of the most intelligent men walking the planet ever. I think I'm going to listen to a few things he has to say. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing, amazing life. Nikola Tesla. Who isn't fascinated with Nikola Tesla? You know, he never really monetized any of his inventions. He was sort of blackballed. And the person he worked for, I don't know if you're aware of this, was Thomas Edison, who monetized his inventions greatly. In fact, a lot of his inventions weren't really his. They were other people's whom he improved on or took public. So Tesla was a very mystical kind of guy. He said that if you want to tap into inventions, go into a space of being alone. What did he mean by that? Now you can do this too. What does alone mean? When you filter out the noise and the lower frequency and vibrations of everything else, you tap into your pure oneness that has all probabilities, answers, inventions, ideas. It's all there. He and also Einstein did this very much, went into meditative states. Now Tesla, along with the many greats, said there's only frequencies and vibrations. I just did a video on Casey, who said that we are high frequency beings that lowered our vibration in order to come into human bodies. If you haven't seen that video, I suggest you watch it. Pretty interesting. I'd never heard that. He also said that we came from other worlds. This was a man who didn't believe in any of this stuff, but in his trance state was giving some really unbelievable information that now isn't so unbelievable. Let's go into what Tesla had to say about our future. Many things have come true. Now, one thing each one of these people that I'm going to start presenting to you says is that everything is our free will and choice to change. Nothing is in stone. In other words, no matter what anybody sees for our future, we can change anything. And I want to really express that to you, because if you're focused on what you believe is a very negative future, then you're not believing that you can change it. And we can change it. And you are very important. As I told my students the other day, we're one big machine. And if that one little screw falls off, everything falls apart. You are that important. Don't underestimate your importance to what goes on this planet and in your own life. You can change anything. Tesla agrees. Nostradamus and Edgar Casey all stated that no future cannot be changed. There are some things that we're in alignment with that are pretty cool, and I'm going to share those with you right now. The first prediction Nikola Tesla gave was the world being able to communicate via small devices that were wireless. Well, we know that's one of his famous predictions. He actually, I believe, was the physical inventor of that, although that got squashed by many people in power. Now we know that one came to pass. And here's another one, that there would be a governing agency that would protect the environment, and that would be in 2035. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, we have the Environmental Protection Agency already, so that did come to pass back in 1970. Well, it's not working too well for us, is it? Yeah, we see things going on out there that aren't being protected at all. I believe the 2030 date is more like it, when a real protection agency will not allow some of the things going on with corporations. I believe this is going to happen because the higher-ups, corporations that use money to manipulate others in governments that allow these things to go on, is going to be dissolved. All right, here's an interesting one. Very encouraging one. Tesla predicted that global nations would spend more time and money on education and science instead of war. Beautiful, and I do believe we're going toward that. We're going to have a focus on educating, cleaning up our environment, community, and so many things that I see happening right now. If you don't see this happening and you're not hearing about it, you might want to change your frequency and tune into a higher one because it's going on out there. And if you're tuned into a lower one, you will actually create that reality. Tesla would agree to that. I'm going to talk more in my next video about vibrations and frequencies because Tesla spoke of hearing music all the time. Now, he believed in higher frequencies, and thus, what is a higher frequency? We can hear it. That's why people that go into near-death experiences say that the music is so beautiful and amazing that everything emitted music. That exists right now. That'll be our next video. He was an amazing man. Let's talk about his next prediction. Gals, get ready. Women will be superior to men in achievements, education, and leadership. We're actually seeing that happen now. No, I'm not talking about getting the women's votes. So years ago they say, oh yeah, that came to pass. Women got the vote. Big whoop. I'm talking about surpassing means placing women in power. Now here's the really positive thing about this. Women function differently than men and are less violent and communicate better with one another about their feelings and everything else. Not all that's genetic. Women are going to go more into the power zones that most men are ruling, and their intellect is going to increase. This is what Tesla said. What does that mean? A more peaceful world. Not acting with weapons, but acting with more communication and compassion. That's going to be a good thing for us. So guys, you have nothing to worry about. I think you're in good hands. All right, here's one. I hope you're not frightened by this one. It's now 2022. By the year 2100, I'll be gone probably by then. You never know, right? Eugenics is going to eliminate what he referred to as undesirables. The jury's out on this one for me. In other words, eliminating undesirables. I don't believe in undesirables. I believe that we have choices within our vibrations, and we do a lot of that before we come here. We choose a lower vibration and experience certain things that are not so desirable. But Tesla predicted that by 2100, eugenics, that would control our genes, and thus the children that are born, would bring in more peaceful, intelligent human beings. Anybody who's predicted anything massive said these things can change. Well, who knows what's going to happen with that one. The next prediction, machines will replace human labor, not humans. Don't worry, they're not going to be running around taking over the world. We'd have to program them to do that. In other words, to have their own freedom and ability to make decisions. And we are already replacing human labor. That's not a bad thing. Imagine what we could focus on that is much more creative, which will raise our frequency and thus change the globe. We could become a community and focus on that instead of working in a plant all day, being exhausted and coming home angry and depleted. The next prediction, flying machines will unite the races. But he didn't mean airplanes. He said machines that do not require fuel, thus eliminating a lot of the conflict with nations. Now, if we don't need fuel and energy's free, that changes the game, doesn't it? What is their conflict about? Power, control. It's resources. When that gets eliminated, the world changes. What would we do with ourselves if we weren't arguing about resources? I'm very excited about this prediction, and there's no date on this one, by the way. Now, one that has come to pass is that news would be disseminated via wireless systems. Boy, this guy knew his stuff. But again, because he actually discovered wireless communications, knew that eventually this would come to pass. Wireless music, news, and pictures. He predicted another really cool prediction is water will power homes. We won't be using electricity anymore. We'll be using water. That's an interesting thought, which brings us to why there may be an agency that protects our environment. Because if water is that crucial and it's going to power us, I guess we're going to have to pay real attention to protecting it. Let's start that today, won't we? All right, next, he predicted that energy would be revolutionized by wireless capabilities. In other words, energy would be transformed in a different format that doesn't once again require resources. That will change everything. We will no longer be cutting down trees that are destroying us, depleting our oceans, polluting them, and all the other things that are accelerating the final days of this planet. She does have an ending point. She goes on to other things too. Now, this is a really interesting one. He predicted that thoughts could be photographed. Now, whether he means an actual photograph or not, in other words, whatever you're believing or thinking could be through the retina picked up in some format, a photograph. In other words, reading minds would be very easy. And Tesla was referred to not as just a scientist, but a visionary. A lot of people thought he was a little out there. He said that he spoke to a pigeon and she spoke back. He heard music all the time. He heard the frequencies of everything around him. I truly believe he did. I think he was beyond a visionary. I think he was functioning on a much higher vibration than most humans. I'm going to shoot a video about what he thought about the 369 number, why it's so powerful, and how you can actually use it. The man was tapped into answers, inventions, visions, future. You can do the same thing. We're going to start talking more and more about using your power. But I wanted to share that even somebody back from the 1940s could know these things that are so outstanding that you can't even imagine what something wireless would be. Yet here, it's how we function every day. I hope you enjoyed this little exploration of Tesla. I'm going to share more and more about my own downloads that really connect to everything he and many visionaries have said. But I really want to drive home the same thing I keep telling you, because this is going to be the key to our future. And that is, we're in control of it. You get to change the future and develop your reality and the planet's with your thoughts. And if you're not doing it right now, you might want to come into my free video series and I show you how thoughts are things and you can manifest anything. You have to get out of the programming and all that's confined us in society in an old world that doesn't exist anymore. We're doing amazing things. You want to join us? I hope you'll subscribe. And those of you who are interested in online businesses, let's create powerful new ways of doing things, technology, using it to reach global audiences in a very positive way. We've got a lot of people coming on as coaches, affiliate marketers, products and services that don't damage the planet. We are the change makers. And if you use technology in an amazing way like Tesla did, well, you empower yourself and us. You can do this for a living. What a concept. Come on over, give it a try. These are free. Mine are free. I'm going to introduce you to all kinds of master classes, cool stuff, free mobile apps, things that are going to help you shift that mind and create that amazing future that Tesla talks about. Let's focus on all the amazing new inventions, ways we can change the world, solutions to things right now that just aren't working for us. Get excited. You're part of a new, beautiful era. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.